We have gotten to the point where I am ready to give you guys a tour of this space. It's never going to be fully complete, and this is probably the cleanest it's ever going to look. So might as well do that now before things get a little out of hand. A month ago, I bought a trailer for $910. Such a random price, but I didn't have any change to break for $900, so I gave him an extra 10. The dust with pottery is just super dangerous. And when I was working in my pottery studio back in school, that was obviously a great space to work. Then when I graduated, I moved all my things into a big shed. But the big problem with that is it's a shared space. So there was no way to keep everything clean. And I always felt like there was no way for me to properly clean the studio ever. So that was a big problem. Fast forward a year and a half later, I've been working in that studio for a long time. I've been posting videos on YouTube, and I come across a trailer that's for sale that was a ice fishing house. I just felt like this was the perfect opportunity to try something new. I've spent the last month remodeling this trailer, as I've shown in the first 2 episodes of the series, but we're just at a point where I'm ready to show you everything I've accomplished in here, with also the major help of my dad. Shout out to my dad. Thank you. We'll always be grateful for him and all the help he's given me on this too. Anyways, I should stop talking and I should just show you the space already, obviously. As the sign says, do not enter. I hope you all enjoyed this tour, and I will see you again another time. Kidding. So funny, so funny. Anyway, the entrance is perfect height for me. It is probably my exact height at 6 feet tall. So it's just a customized door. I might change this at one point, and it's the only thing I did not paint from what was previous inside here. I put up this mirror on this door just because I felt like it, when the doors closed, it felt like it added an extra window into the space, even though it obviously isn't one. All right, the first main feature of this ceramic studio, I would say, is this ceramic wheel. I got this wheel, I think right after graduation. It's a Shimpo wheel, so it's not a super crazy expensive one, but it's also not the bottom of the barrel type of wheel, so it does everything that I need to do. My dad and I built a custom shelf just so I could put my sketchbooks, my ceramic magazines, my National Geographic magazines, and a few different books that just kind of make sense to put in the art studio. When I bought the trailer, it came with this speaker, which is really nice, that can be Bluetooth, so I can listen to my music in here. And then it also is really nice because it's solar powered. So I have almost everything, like the speaker, these lights up here, pretty much everything in here besides these outlets right here are solar powered. And then I also do have a few outlets down here that are going to be solar powered in case for some reason it's been cloudy for days on end and there's just no power in here. So this used to just be an open area, and I wanted to enclose it so it wasn't just a bunch of wires everywhere, because I hate seeing a bunch of wires just everywhere on walls and ceilings. So this condensed a lot of things. I have the wires going down the side of the shelves, so then that way they're tucked back a bit. Luckily this trailer is close enough where I can plug in an external power source, so I am able to use these outlets for things too as well. So that's why the wheel can be in here. The studio space is a bit small, as you'll see in a second too, if you couldn't tell from the outside. It's nice to also have this bench right here that I can use for my wheel as well as use for another function that I'll show later. This side of the room is probably the most boring side of the trailer, but you gotta have some more practical things. So I have the coat rack that actually was in the exact same spot, looked the exact same. I thought it was practical, so I kept it. And speaking of right now, like, I really need to take this shirt off. I am so sorry. It is, I think, like 90 degrees in the trailer right now as I'm doing the tour, and I don't think I can do this any longer, so sorry. I kept the 2 shelves that were in this corner just because it's always nice to have a little bit more space to store things. Alright, now we're going to head towards more of the interesting space of the art studio, where I keep all the desks and I make all the projects. Or where I will be making all the projects, I should say, I guess. This is a super cute feature, but since this was a fishing ice house, they had these things at the bottom that I was like, what are these switches? Like, they didn't make any sense to me. And then when I finally touched them, I realized they're lights. So there's two of them. There's one there. There's one over here. So at night they look super cute. I'll have to show you in another video. But a cute little addition that I'm not going to get rid of. So this is the other side of the studio space. I actually really love how this turned out personally. There's so many little elements that kind of came together to make this a really functional space, and I am super excited to get in here and start creating a lot of new projects. This is a desk my dad and I built together. At this point it's probably like 8 years ago. So I used this for all my projects previously in videos, but this is now going to be more of my dry space. So when I don't have clay projects that are really wet, I'll be using them on here. And then I'm going to be using like wedging and the beginning of projects on this one that has, I think it's a ceramic or a porcelain countertop. So a bit easier to work with wet projects on that. And then I'll also have, I'm sure, wedging boards and other things I can use too. When it comes to ceramics, you just need a ton of storage always. So I have a lot of containers. I didn't want to buy anything new, so just found a lot of containers that were sitting around that I'm using for cloth or for magazines or for just ceramic tools. All my tools that I use quite often are going to be up here, obviously, but the ones that you don't use like daily or weekly are going to be tucked away down here. And I also have a wet bin and a dry bin for all my clay scraps, so I'm not continuing to be wasteful. I can recycle all my clay, which obviously I've talked about in previous videos as well. When it comes to the side, it's a bit more practical. It is going to be like my daily task board up here. I have my, what I used to call my art cart, that has all my art supplies. That's like more like painting things and ceramic stains. And then I have a bit more storage back here as well for finished projects. Luckily I have two windows that open, this window right here and this window here. So it creates a little bit of a cross breeze, but at the same time not a big enough one. It is still 87 degrees in here, I think. Not the most practical thing to have a studio space be that hot, but it's gonna be a fun time in here. In the winter, I will be needing this heater personally. So this is a propane heater, I believe. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm sure it's not that hard. So I'll be using that to keep this place warm. I don't have AC right now, so I'm just using the windows. So AC will probably be a next year project as well. And I had a lot of signs, obviously, as you can tell from a flea market purchase when I was younger. So I just put these in here as well. On this space I'm envisioning a small shelf that will probably be able to hold projects that are going to be like in progress projects. As you can also see, this side has a beautiful window, probably my favorite window in the whole place. Like I said, it's a really small space, but it'll do just what I need for now. And moving back to this side, and say I was wanting to clean up my pottery studio after a long day and I didn't want to drive back home to my place, I could theoretically, I'm going to move this onto like a moving trolley, dolly, what are they called? I don't know. So let me show you what I'm trying to say. This bench over here flips over and then you have a bed right here. This is actually, I think, a really fun part about this studio. I was not expecting to have a space that could be functional for sleeping as well as my studio space. This will be a nice bonus on the days that it's really beautiful outside and I can sleep with the windows open. Maybe like a later fall day compared to these hot summer days. I could not do that right now. But anyway, let me show you how I would set this up. So we have storage behind here as well. It's a really nice functional bench. On this side, I just keep my tools. On the other side, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna put them in plastic containerware because I'm scared of pests getting inside. But this is where I have all my bedding, so I'll show you how I set this up. Honestly, feels criminal thinking about sleeping in here because it's that hot in here. I would definitely properly clean this place before I would ever spend the night here, so it would be a bit of an effort, but it would be nice. I also just love how immersed in nature this trailer is too. I love creating art and also being able to have inspiration be around you too with these pretty visuals. So I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but I feel like to some it will. I'll show you a little bit of the outside of the space quick, and then that's the end of this tour. So, as you can tell, I overall have a lot to still do on this. It's never really going to be finished, probably ever, but it's in a beautiful spot. I'm feeling very inspired after a month of building this, creating a lot of good memories with my dad too on this build. And I'm super excited to see what the future holds with all this in my art career. So, it can only go up from here. The cicadas agree with me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will update you when I update this trailer for a future episode on the series. But you also can subscribe and see all my other videos where I create art or travel or just really do whatever, because I post anything on this channel. It's not really a specific thing. So anyways, thank you to all of you who have been following me along for this journey this long, and I am excited to see where this all goes. See you all later. Bye.